Hey there, my name's Niandra, and recently we got a fun meme experimental patch that was put together by 3 content creators. Instead of looking at the entire patch, I thought it'd be fun to do a quick video about the Mercy changes. Basically, I recorded some experimental games and wanted to talk over them or give my thoughts in general. Mercy got quite a few changes, and the most notable was as you heal a meter goes down, then once that meter is empty, your healing drops to 40 per second. It's pretty obvious the main goal here was to heavily discourage heal botting, and in that regard, I think the changes succeed very well. For example, the bar still goes down if you heal someone who is full or anti-naded, so you're actively hurting yourself if you do it. This footage is from my first match where I got 2k damage amplified in 5 minutes while paired with Lucio, which I was really pleased with. That being said, I don't think I'm a fan of these changes. Ultimately, it is a nerf for Mercy, but worse than that, it just makes her a chore to play. I'll talk about it more later on, but spam flicking between beam modes when healing seems to be the way to go, but it's just so exhausting. Even if you are a super heavy damage boost user, you're still going to have moments where this change screws you over. Another idea I've seen suggested if you want to hit heal bots hard is to give Mercy more ult charge from damage boosting and less from healing. I like that idea a lot more than what we got here because it means people who are already heavy blue beamers aren't hurting the crossfire so much. Also, I'm not going to make too much of a fuss over this, but I think the heal bar itself was quite hard to see sometimes, like occasionally I would tune it out. I think adding some sound effects for when your meter is low or empty would have been quite nice. So this Nepal game. As I kind of mentioned earlier, one thing you will notice in a lot of my footage is that when I do actually heal, I tend to spam flick between my 2 beam modes. This is because your heal meter goes up when a damage boost target deals any amount of damage, so it's really important to get in flicks of blue beam while healing because otherwise the meter just goes down so fast. I definitely didn't optimize this, and there's a few moments where I should have just held down healing, but I absolutely think I was on the right track here, which is probably why I would cry if there was a possibility of this being added to the live game. I don't know why I didn't top up Anna here, but anyway, my diva is going to fly forward into a bad position, and even though Anna can see her, I want to heal her as well because enemies could easily focus her. You can really see here how fast the meter drains if you do hold it. Once Diva has fallen back, I use the flick method to heal her, but I should have just let Anna cover it and focus on damage boost instead. One thing I realised is that any amount of damage gives back healing juice, so characters like Diva and Mei who can fast fire poke damage are really good at getting it back quickly if you spam modes. Also, I got stuck on terrain like twice there because I'm bad at this video game. Some teammates fall back to point to deal with the enemy Genji that's there, and I don't like that I went with them. It's one Genji, our Anna is with them, and this means our Reinhardt is pushed up without a heal, which I'm not a fan of. I also don't bother to heal Diva, which is a good thing, Anna can do it, but in that case there was zero reason for me to leave Rein. I like this cozy little spot, although it's probably riskier than just playing from here. I just hold healing on Anna instead of flicking here because she's quite far back and not likely to do damage from her position. I then try to flick heal onto Tracer, but because she's already very low, she just kind of dies. That is an instance where I should have healed normally. In this experimental card, Mercy can also cancel her own res with secondary fire. Interesting idea, not a fan of the execution. I think Interact should have been used instead because I cancelled a bunch of mine by mistake. I decide to make up for Tracer's absence with Valkyrie since she gets back fairly fast. Overall, I am happy with this Valk, but I have been wondering if maybe the heal meter should not be a thing when you're ulting. Even as someone who tries to spend most of my ult blue beaming, I find it kind of annoying and restrictive, which I feel goes against Valkyrie's utility heavy design. There's definitely a bunch of healing here I could have left up to Anna, but there's also moments where she misses a nade and isn't positioned to heal Rein when he's taking damage. I think my biggest motivation for healing though is just ult charge, so going back to earlier, if Anna got more ult charge than me for healing, I would be way more inclined to let her have it here. Also keep in mind our DPS are Sombra and Tracer, so this isn't really a Mercy friendly comp, but hey, it's the experimental, people are going to play what they want, and I learned this the hard way by forcing Mercy Lucio like 10 times in a row. Rewatching my footage, I'm definitely noticing a lot of moments where I could have left healing for damage boost. Even though these are experimental matches, I still think looking at them will help my performance in the live game. Also, I want to quickly show this clip from round 2. So I'm coming back from spawn and there's an ally dead on point. As I fly over to them and start the res, I'm not holding down heal or damage boost. During the animation, I look around and see allies I would like to damage boost once res is finished, and end up cancelling it again. I really dislike that they chose secondary fire for this, and I heard that it caused issues on console as well. Anyway, moving on, the second game is Rialto. Sadly, a lot of the footage is just unusable because look at this, I jitter my camera view about violently while beam flicking and it just kind of makes me sick to look at. So instead, I've taken a couple of moments where that doesn't really happen and I'll talk over that. So I begin this match by damage boosting Ryan to catch his Fire Strike, but give up after a few seconds because I feel like I just get more value blue beaming Bastion. What is interesting about this beginning is that our other healer is Moira down below, meaning she doesn't have easy access to our allies on high ground, which includes Orisa. I didn't factor her health just being armor, so I don't know if that comes into this, but I do know that only I can heal her up here. One thing I noticed my brain was struggling with was flicking my beam between multiple targets while also flicking between heal and damage boost. Like, it's too much for me to compute. I go to heal Reinhardt here because he's pushed up and just in a mess of shields that may cut off Moira. He gets hit with anti-nade and I could boost him through it, but I'd rather just boost Bastion and assume Moira can handle it once purple wears off. Also, I realised my positioning was kind of dodgy there and just in general during these experimental games, and no, I will not be taking feedback at this time. There was also a moment here where I was going to heal our injured Moira but stopped once I saw her throw a healing orb in front of her. To sort of close this video off, I learned that Violet's original plan for Mercy in this experimental card was to give her back Mass Resurrect during Valkyrie, and that Valkyrie would give extra attack speed. I think considering this, the changes make more sense. I think it explains why Mercy kept the meter during ult, because otherwise it would be way too strong. Even as someone who isn't the biggest fan of Mass Res, I'm honestly quite disappointed Blizzard didn't go through with it. The experimental card has been wildly popular, and I feel like Mass Res would have brought back a lot of people, especially more casual players. Apparently Blizzard planned to do more cards put together by content creators, so maybe we'll see it in future or something. And there we go. Sorry this video is so short. I did want it to be longer, but also grinding the experimental card was just kind of draining and I'm feeling a bit sick, so I just stuck with this. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.